The pattern isn't the problem. I want to say that again because it might be the most important thing that you hear today if you've been trying to change something about yourself that keeps coming back. The pattern is not the problem. The pattern is actually protecting something. And until you understand what it's protecting and give that thing what it actually needs, the pattern will keep coming back every time, in every new context, with every new relationship or job or situation. I have a master's degree in applied behavior analysis. I've spent years understanding how human behavior works, how patterns form, and what actually changes them. And here's what the research and my clinical experience both confirm. You cannot willpower your way out of a pattern that has formed as a survival response. You can manage it, you can suppress it temporarily, you can develop enough awareness to catch it before it fully activates. But that underlying pattern, it doesn't respond to force. And here's why. The deepest patterns in your life, they weren't formed by your adult mind. They were formed before you had language, before you could reason, before you had any real context for what was actually happening to you. They were formed by a very young, but very intelligent part of you that was doing the only thing available to it at that time, surviving. And that pattern, the shutdown, the overgiving, the people pleasing, the self sabotage, the way you bolt when things are actually getting too good, that was a solution, a brilliant, resourceful, completely logical solution to a situation that required one. The problem is that your nervous system doesn't automatically update when those circumstances change. And the solution keeps running even when the original problem is long gone. So, if the pattern is a solution, what's the problem that it was built to solve? A wound. Usually something that happened in childhood or even a past life, not necessarily something dramatic and not necessarily what anyone would call trauma in the clinical sense. Sometimes it's something that looks small from the outside, a moment of being shamed, a time that you needed something and it wasn't there, a decision you made about what love looks like, or what safety requires, or what you have to do in order to be okay. And that wound formed a belief. A belief created a protection strategy. And the protection strategy becomes the pattern. And this is the piece that most healing approaches miss entirely. The pattern isn't just a bad habit. It's like a guardian. It's actively protecting that wound from being touched again, which means every time you try to change the pattern without addressing the wound that's underneath, you're trying to remove the guard without addressing what it's guarding. That's why it keeps coming back. If you're an empath or a highly sensitive person, I want to speak to you specifically for a moment. Your sensitivity means that you feel everything more deeply, and you did even as a child. Every charged moment, every unspoken tension, every time the emotional temperature in the room changed, you felt that in your body, which means the wounds that you formed were often deeper, more layered, and more entangled with other people's energy than most. It also means that the protective patterns that you built were more elaborate, more sophisticated, more effective at keeping that wound hidden, even from yourself. But here's the other side of that. That same sensitivity that created the depth of the wound is also your greatest asset in healing it. Empaths who do this work don't just heal incrementally, they heal very deeply because they can feel into the places that other people just can't access. Inner child work gets dismissed a lot. It sounds soft. It sounds like something you do with a teddy bear or a journal to some. Some, it seems very daunting and very, traumatizing because you think that you're reactivating or revisiting those wounds and reliving that experience. But I want to be clear, it's not either of those things. Genuine inner child healing is the process of, yes, going back to the wound, to the specific moment or series of moments where a belief formed and a protection strategy was built, but you're not reliving it. You're just watching it like a movie. You're observing it as an outsider, as the adult that you are now, with the knowledge that you have now. And you're giving that younger part of you what you actually needed at that time. Not what your adult brain thinks it needed, but what it actually needed, which is important to go back to that experience in order to figure out what that actually is. This might be acknowledgement. It might be safety. It might be someone simply saying, what happened to you wasn't okay. It might be reclaiming a part of yourself that got buried within this wound. And the wound, when it gets what it needs, that pattern stops being necessary. Not because you forced it out, but because its job is complete now. It's done. And that's the work. That's the difference between managing a pattern and actually healing one. If you've been working on a pattern for a while and it keeps coming back, that's not a failure. That's data. That's information. It's telling you that there's a wound underneath that hasn't been reached yet. I have inner child healing sessions open right now if you're ready to get to the root of your wound and really heal it from the bottom up. I will put the link in the description. But if you want to explore first, join the free Divine Ascension Company community on School. I'll also put that link in the description for you. Subscribe to my channel if this landed. Share it with someone who's been stuck in the same loop, same patterns over and over again. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, trust what you know.